Good morning, welcome to my class. Today we are going to discuss about the validation of models. So this is under model number 5, that is verification and validation of simulation models. So validation is nothing but the accurate information which we are going to compare with the real system. That is nothing but the data, the information were collected on inter-arrival times of customer, and then during a slack period, and service time for the commercial accounts and for the personal accounts. See, normally this is conducted during the development of a simulation model with an ultimate goal of producing an accurate and credible model. So simulation models are increasingly being used to solve problems and to aid in decision making. So decision making which will be present in the objectives and constraints, and the developers and user of these models, like the makers using information obtained from the results of these models, and individuals affected by the decisions based on such models are all rightly concerned whether a model and its results are correct. So this concern is addressed through the verification and validation of the simulation model. So the procedure for analyzing the input data consists of 3 steps. One is identifying the appropriate probability distribution, and second thing is estimating the parameters of the hypothesized distribution, and validating the assumed statistical models by the goodness of fittest like chi-square test, Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, and by the graphical methods. So these kind of tests we are going to compare with the existing one, and in this phase of validation process, the model is viewed as input and output transformation. So that is, the model accepts the value of input parameters and transforms these input into output measure of performance, and will be getting the simulation output. So this is corresponds, that is being validated. So the verification and validation of a simulation model starts after functional specifications have been documented and initial model development has been completed. So verification and validation is an iterative process that takes place through the development of a model. So this model accepts the value of input parameters, and afterwards it will be moving into the measure of performance through the simulation and will be getting the output. So instead of validating the model, input-output transformations is going to predict the future. The modeler may use the existing data which has been served for validation purpose. If one set has been used to calibrate the model, it is recommended that a separate data test should be used as final validation test. So that if they are comparing with the existing one or historical data, so then it is unnecessary to test again and again. So we will be getting an accurate result based on the historical data. And now the accurate prediction of the past may replace prediction of the future for purpose of validating the future. So the necessary condition for input and output transformation is that some version of system under study exists, so that the system data at least under one set of input condition can be collected to compare the model prediction. So in this validation, we are going to check the accuracy of the model representation of the real system. So model validation is defined to mean substantiation that a computerized model with a domain applicability possesses satisfactory range of accuracy consistent with the intended application of the model. There are many approaches that can be used to validate a computer model, if the system is in a planning stage and no system operating data can be collected, we can use the input and output transactions, and you have to complete the input and output validation in this process. The approaches range from subjective reviews to objective statistical tests. There are so many approaches like objective test, subjective test, all the things. So this is the input and output validation by using the historical input data. When using artificially generated data as input data, the modeler expects the model produce event patterns that are compatible with but not similar to the event pattern that occurred in the real system during the period of data collection. So for example, the better example what we can say is bank model. Here artificial input data for the inter-arrival and service time were generated and replicates the old one of the output data, and were compared to what was observed in the real system. So normally frequently what will be there, observations and recordings will be there in the things. So normally we have 3 things to validate. One is we are using the 3-step approach, nailer and finger approach. One is building a model that has high face validity and validate model assumptions and compare the model input and output transactions to corresponding input and output transactions for the real system. So these are the things, okay. And then assumptions made about the model generally into 2 categories. One is structural assumptions and another one is data assumptions. So in this structural assumptions, what we can follow is how the system operates and how it is physically arranged or the structural assumptions. And for example, we can say the number of servers in the fast food drive-through lane, and if there is more than one, how they are utilized. So do the servers work in parallel, where a customer completes a transaction by visiting a single server or more. So that is one of the very good example we can give for the structural assumptions. And then when we saw the data assumptions, in this data assumption, it is a very sufficient amount of appropriate data available to build a conceptual model and validate a model. So lack of appropriate data is often the reason attempts to validate a model. So that is also one of the very good example we can say. An alternative to generating input data is to use the actual historical record like SN, n is equal to 1, 2 to drive simulation model and then compare the output to the system data. So to implement this technique for the bank model, we have the data A1, A2, S1 and S2. These parameters would have to be entered into the model into arrays or stored on a file to be read as the need if it's so. Now we are using the Turing test for the input and output validation process. In addition to the statistical test, when no statistical test is readily applicable, those who having a knowledge about the real system can be used to compare model output to the system output. For example, suppose we have the 5 reports of system performance over 5 different days are prepared, and simulation outputs are used to produce 5 fake reports. The 10 reports should all be in exactly in the same format and should contain the information of the type that manager and engineer have previously seen on the system like that. So this is how the Turing test. For example, so in the Turing test, what they are going to do is they are going to test the fake reports as well as the original reports. So which is suitable, they will be taking it, it should be in the same format. The 10 reports are randomly shuffled and given to the engineer, who is asked to decide which reports are fake and which are real. If engineer identifies substantial number of fake reports, the model builder questions the engineer and uses the information again to improve the model. If the engineer cannot distinguish between the fake and real reports with any consistency, the modeler will conclude that this test provides no evidence of model inadequacy. So this type of validation is called the Turing test, we can say. So this test we are going to apply in the simulation concept. Thank you.